Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 352. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Monday feelings right now. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling anything. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling bad. I'm just numb.
You know what would help with the Monday feelings? Getting yourself a nice button-up collared shirt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if you're listening to this, you, Nate included, if you need a fix for the Monday, just the Mondays in general, not just like a Monday here or there, just generally speaking, if you need a fix for that, I'm telling you, just try putting on like a nice shirt or something. I'm telling you, dude, it changes your whole outlook on the day.
I'm going to go to the gym after this. So it's like, I don't want to change from clothes that are nicer to gym clothes.
No, I get it.
Shower and then back into it.
And I'm not keeping this on necessarily the whole day, but like, because we're doing this, I put on a nice shirt. If you're listening to this and you know you're working from home, but you're planning on working remote at the local coffee shop, put on a nice shirt, even though it's a Monday.
Pants?
Yes, I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing shoes. That's when you know. I'm telling you, just give it a try. Tell me how it I don't know. It's probably like a placebo effect thing, but I'm telling you, it changes your whole outlook on
I don't
Mondays.
think it changes the fact that it's still Monday and Mondays suck.
Right, but it's a way to help counter the negative associations you have because you're feeling good. It's the whole thing we talk about with athletes. You look good, you feel good, you play good. In this case, you feel good, you fill out the spreadsheet good. Whatever it is you do for work, you're going to feel better doing it if you got a nice shirt on. That's all I'm saying. And I say all that to say that I've got a floral shirt on. So the streak continues.
Got to keep it going.
I may just have to make that a Monday thing, though. I can't be wearing them every episode. I want to stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe Thursdays are a little more lax.
Yeah, I can go lax on Thursdays.
Yeah. Jerseys. We could do Jersey Thursdays, but that would run out pretty quick.
I need
many.
Need to upgrade that big time.
Yeah.
I'm hurting on my Jersey game.
Well, fantasy team's in good shape, so I might be getting a new one halfway through the year. We don't know.
Time will tell.
Nate,
this is the only thing I'll say about our fantasy league. I know we mention this like every episode, our fantasy league, but look, if you're interested in joining the fantasy league in coming seasons, like down the road, and you're fortunate enough to be brought on board, just know that you're going to be victim to some black magic, some sorcery when it comes to dealing with Nate. This man finagles trades out of thin air, and it should be illegal, but just know that that's the kind of person you're working with here if you're in our fantasy league. And that's all I'll say on that matter.
Not a ton of finagling going on. Just very direct.
Okay.
Very direct. Just works in my favor.
All right. Whatever you say. We're going to get into some weekend series recaps here. Before we do that, just want to throw out another reminder. If you are not already, check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to put out more content on there, more video stuff. I mean, obviously video stuff, but really trying to take that video game to the next level a little bit, trying to get some more content out there for you guys. So be sure to check us out there.
Yeah, it's a big help.
And who knows, as the season goes along, we might do some YouTube exclusive stuff just for the platform. We'll see. Time will tell, but we're trying to up that game a little bit. So, like I said, beat the rush. Get over there, subscribe. Helps us out big time.
Smash it.
Smash the subscribe button. Let's get into some weekend series recaps. Let's see. Off the top here. Well, before we do that, last thing, promise. Anything you got right off the top before we get into this? I want to make sure I give you an opportunity to make any announcements.
I don't think so. No.
Fair enough. Just wanted to give you that opportunity.
Yeah, I had to.
All right.
I mean, I'm trying to rack my brain. It's really slow over here on Nate Island.
On this Monday?
Yeah.
Well, I already told you what would help with that.
Yeah.
Right off the top here, Marlins sweep the Cubs. Marlins are now 10-0 this season in one-run games. Shout out Marlins. That's a stat you'll love to see if you're a Marlins fan. Despite getting swept, Cody Bellinger, I don't know if you've seen much with him. Dude's returning to form a little bit.
Interesting. It's almost like somebody predicted that.
It's almost like that was said back in March.
Back in March, was it?
I think that is something we've
Weird.
been saying since March. Weird.
Let's go Cubs.
Weird. Red Sox over the Guardians this weekend. Chris Sale continues his trend of bad start, good start, and helps the Red Sox reach May with a winning record.
Look at that.
And might I add, we'll get into it when we take a look at the standings. Same record as the Yankees.
Wild.
So with all the talk, myself included, with all the slander
Yeah.
being put forth onto the Red Sox, you come out of the end of April with a winning record. You love to see it. And while we're on this topic real quick, I just want to clarify some things because I got some people in the mentions, in the comments, coming after me a little bit. Let me just reiterate. I have never once said that I'm out on the Red Sox. I've, in frustration, said that I'm done with this team. I said that Chris Sale is cooked. Corey Kluber is cooked.
I'm not out, but I've said I'm done.
Who hasn't said that about their team on a given day? I'm not out. I'm just saying I'm not gonna be one of those people that just goes into the rest of this season with blinders on, pretending like the offseason wasn't handled the way it was handled. That's all I'm saying. Like, again, I'm not actively rooting for them to lose. I just wanted to clarify that because there's some people that don't quite seem to understand that. That's all. That's it.
You're allowed to be in a love-hate relationship. I don't
Especially
think there's
this
anything wrong
year.
with that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm in
Thank
one
you.
too.
And I'm going to give you a platform here shortly to share your thoughts on said love-hate relationship. The Pirates over the Nationals this weekend. Over the weekend, Drew Maggi gets his first big league hit, and the Pirates become the first National League team to 20 wins.
That's big time. That's a great April.
That's a great April.
That's a grapple. That's a grapple.
That's a good mark to reach if you're the Pirates. Like, okay, 10 wins, whatever. Nobody cares. 20 wins, you can't really ask for much more than that. I mean, that's sustainable. It's a small sample size, but that's a good start.
Trying to remember, how long have we been saying it?
I think since March, Nate.
Interesting. Weird. I love it. I love when when we're wrong like 98% of the time, but the 2%, we really hammer it home and we remind everyone.
We let them
nailed
know.
it.
We let them know. We let everything
2%.
fall by the wayside, but we let you know the things we got right, and we remind you about that. No, jokes aside, and tell me if you think I'm wrong here. I feel like we do a pretty good job of holding ourselves accountable on takes we had wrong or situations such as a Manny Machado where we acknowledge that we have come around on said situation. I feel like we do a pretty decent job. I'd like to think more so than other podcasts, not to throw any shade out there, but I feel like we do a pretty good job here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hop camps a little bit.
But we're transparent. We're transparent. All about integrity over here. Blue Jays over the Mariners. Toronto was one strike away from completing a 3-game sweep on Sunday and extending its win streak to 7, but the Mariners rallied late in extras and snap a 4-game losing streak. The Orioles over the Tigers. Orioles have won 11 of their last 13 games and have won 6 straight series for the first time since 2014. Twins over the Royals. Sonny Gray, who is now 4-0, allowed 1 run on Sunday. Sonny Gray has given up just 3 runs in his 35 innings of work this year and saw his MLB best ERA rise to .77 after the outing. Former Yankee Sonny Gray. Rays over the White Sox.
Not former A, former Yankee.
Who else was he with? He was with the Reds, the A's.
I think just those two.
I swear there was another one in there. Was there not?
I don't think so.
Reds, A's, Yankees. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. It's not that old.
Yeah,
Right.
it's true. Rays over the White Sox. Andrew Vaughn ends the 4-game series with a 3-run walk-off home run and ends Chicago's 10-game losing streak, but the Rays finished the month with an MLB best 23-6 mark.
I did look at the box score. Was that a 7-run ninth by the White Sox?
Yes, 7 in the ninth.
That's
So
big
pull
time.
it out. That is big time. And you know
Without
it's bad.
Luis Robert in the lineup, by the way.
Right. You know it's bad, though, when you have guys on a team like this. It happens from year to year, but it seems that this year it's the White Sox. When you have players after a losing streak like this, posting the final score graphics to their story, being like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, we did it. They're like celebrating the obvious.
Yeah.
They're acting as though they're fans of the team. They're responding the same way that fans would respond to a losing streak ending like that. It's kind of funny, but that's how baseball goes sometimes.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look, but that's baseball. Brewers over the Angels. Angels throw a combined 3-hitter for their 4th shutout of the season on Sunday. I did see, I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday's game? I think I may be completely wrong here, but I remember seeing a post about I think Trout had a pair of home runs or had a home run or something. Shohei had a couple.
Oh yeah, those come out
extra
every
bases.
week. It feels like.
And yeah, one of those Tungsten Armo Doyle games. Yeah, and they still lost, but they bounced back well on Sunday. Throw a combined 3-hitter, so that's big time for them. The Rangers over the Yankees. The Rangers rout the Yankees by putting up not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8.
Does it make you feel better?
But 9. No, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12. Not 13, not 14, but 15 runs on Sunday, winning by a score of 15-2, and hand the Yankees their 6th loss in their last 8 games. Yankees now sit in last place in the American League East. Nathan Eovaldi, former Red Sox legend, throws a 3-hit complete game shutout on Saturday. Martin Perez, former Red Sox legend, also shoves against the Yankees. A big headline out of this, Jacob deGrom gets hit with the old IL stint. We'll get into that a little bit, but I mean, at what point? At what point?
I saw a breakdown. I saw like a TikTok that was like breaking down like the actual moments it was happening. And I was watching live too. The defeat on deGrom's face, like it seemed like he was honestly holding back tears.
That's got to be so frustrating.
And then it zoomed into the pitching coach, Mike Maddox, and he like looked over at Bochy and he was like, forearm. And that's all he said. You know what I mean? And like we know what that means. Like when you have forearm issues, we know what that means. It's just tough, man, because it's like, I don't think he's not, we make jokes about it, right? Like I feel like every baseball fan makes jokes about it, that he continues to get hurt. But it's like, this guy is capable. I mean, when careers end, these are the guys that we wish never got hurt. Like everyone wishes Griffey stayed healthy his whole career, right? Everyone wishes that Bo Jackson stayed healthy. Like you can go on and on throughout players in history, and you just like, you wish they could have found a way to be okay. And it's nothing against him. It's nothing against, I don't know, the training. It's just like, there's just, I don't know.
Well, I
but
think
it's something different every year.
Yeah, and I think the reason people make jokes, I mean, ourselves included, and I won't speak for other people, but I think for you and me, we're not trying to like tear the guy down, because when he's healthy, those few windows of time that he is healthy, he's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to see that on a every fifth day basis?
Right.
I think the reason that people, and like I said, we'll maybe dive into this a little bit later if we have some time, but I think the reason people make light of it so often is that in such an unpredictable game like baseball, when you have a 162 game season play out over the course of however many months,
the seasons have become pretty predictable.
They're so predictable. The outcomes are, it's almost rhythmic at this point, where it's like, okay, and Mets fans have been letting Rangers fans hear it. Like, don't act surprised. This is what you should have expected when you picked him up. But yeah, just unfortunate for deGrom, unfortunate for baseball. The D-backs over the Rockies. Rockies snap a 7-game home losing streak on Sunday and avoid tying their worst 29-game start in franchise history. But I tell you what, that's a beautiful ballpark, and they got a lot of bars there. I know that much.
Sell the team. Just sell it.
Sell the team. Padres sweep the Giants in Saturday's game in the Mexico City series. Both teams combined to hit 11 home runs in game one. I believe I read correctly. Was it 10 or 11? I think it was 11. Padres win 16-11. Xander Bogaerts. This probably my favorite nugget of the whole weekend. Xander Bogaerts, my captain,
former Red Sox legend.
Red Sox legend. Seems like a guy you'd want to keep around. Becomes the first major league player to homer in 4 different countries.
Whoa, that's cool.
How about that? For those keeping track at home, he's obviously hit some home runs, a fair amount in the United States. Had some in Canada, England as a part of the London series, and now Mexico.
That's legit.
Although, well, no, never mind. I guess that's from like a career standpoint, but I was gonna say you could throw the Netherlands in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could throw like the WBC stuff in there because.
Well, where were they? What pool were the Netherlands in? I'm just talking about with him being a Netherlands guy.
Well, not this one, but the one before. Wasn't he in the one before? And I'm assuming they were.
Was he at home for that? Netherlands?
I don't know who one of the host sites were, but I don't think it was one of these 4 places.
But yeah, obviously that nugget is pertaining to his major league career, but quite a feat nonetheless. The Dodgers sweep the Cardinals. Dodgers use small ball to get their first 3-game series sweep of the season and have won 7 of their last 10. Phillies over the Astros. Astros avoid a sweep on Sunday Night Baseball, but Phillies win their 4th straight series. So props to the Phillies, man. I think some people were worried about the Phillies early on, and for good reason. But, turning around as of late.
Yeah.
And then lastly,
they're still a good ball club. I think everyone needs to relax.
They'll be all right. They got one of the game's best players coming back ASAP.
Heard of him.
Braves and Mets are slated to actually finish up today. They had their Sunday game postponed, so we'll see how that wraps up. Any questions, comments, concerns before we get into the standings update?
The matchup you just mentioned, that's kind of interesting how the first game of that series ended after 5 innings in the rain. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It feels like these divisions, specifically speaking to the NL East, like those are tight when it comes down to it. Spots are decided by 1 or 2 games, and it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't love the fact that they called it after 5. Just interesting to me.
That's baseball, Susan.
We'll see.
Looking at the standings here. Actually, let me pull up that tweet from our good friend Ryan Ripken, who, if all goes well, should be making a return to the pod here in the coming weeks. Where is it? Come on, Ryan. Man, Ryan tweets a lot.
Daily. He checks in every day to see how everybody's doing. It's Monday. Have a day.
Oh, here it is. All right. Yeah, this would have been after Sunday's games. He tweeted out, and I'm just reading this without fact checking. So if I'm wrong here, take it up with Ryan. He said, if the Orioles and Blue Jays weren't in the American League East, they would be leading the American League Central, American League West, and the NL West. And he also said the O's would be also leading the National League East.
Hey, I mean, he ain't wrong.
But with that said, looking at the American League East, coming into Monday, May 1st, we've got the Rays on top at 23-6, the O's at 19-9, the Blue Jays at 18-10, and the Red Sox and Yankees both at 15-14, rounding out 4th and 5th place. The American League Central, you got Minnesota on top, 17-12, the Guardians at 13-15, Tigers at 10-17, the White Sox at 8. You would think would be in last place at 8-21, but oh no, you've got the Royals pulling up the rear at 7-22.
What a joke. There's one team in the positive for run differential. One team in that division.
One team with a winning record.
That's insane.
More importantly, what
a joke.
What a joke. And the White Sox have a worse run differential than the Royals, and they're in 4th place. This whole division is a mess.
Makes no sense.
American League West, you got the Rangers still holding strong on top, 17-11. The Astros at 15-13. The Angels at 15-14. Mariners at 12-16. And the Las Vegas A's at 6-23.
With negative the win 117 run differential. Let's go. Need it.
Real.
Worst team in baseball ever. Please give me something.
Win percentage of 207. What did I say the win percentage watch was? Wasn't it like $130 or something?
I think it was, yeah. I don't think we're ever going to get to that point, but you never know.
You never know, man.
You got to believe in something.
I mean, the White Sox just ended a 10-game losing streak, so maybe if the A's can reel one off of their own, we're in great shape at that point.
Could use that, yeah.
Yeah, we could. The A's could use a 10-game losing streak. Huh? How about it? Let's make it happen. National League East, got the Braves on top, 18-9, Mets at 15-12, Marlins at 16-13, Phillies at 15-14. As I mentioned, 4 straight series wins, so things looking up in Philly. And the Nationals at 10-17. Really the only bright spot with the Nationals right now is, I mean, I'm sure there's multiple, but in terms of immediate first glance, Josiah Gray has really had a terrific start to the year, all things considered. You can really only expect so much from guys in a rotation when they're on just a god-awful team, because the run support's not going to be there. The talent around them just isn't going to be there. It's hard to learn from guys around you as a pitcher if the guys around you all suck. So, Josiah Gray's working with what he's got, and I think between him and Mackenzie Gore, man, there's some.
Mackenzie Gore looks like he's starting to come around.
There's some great upside there.
Yeah, CJ Abrams, I think, just got a lot of work to do defensively. It's pretty obvious that that's going to be a big issue for him. So, yeah, I'm I don't know. You take your small wins. That's all you can do this year. You know what I mean? There's not much to write about. You're really hoping that your young guys get some experience under their belt, continue to develop, and just kind of get all of this stuff out of the way now. But I do like Josiah Gray. Faux show.
I can truthfully say, you can go back and check. I've been on board with this guy ever since he came over from LA, right? Yeah, he was part of that was
the Trey Turner deal?
Was that the Turner deal, or was it yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on board with this guy for a while. I think I caught a game or two of his over the last year or two, but yeah. Dude's stuff is there.
He got the juice.
He just has to develop it. National League Central. As I mentioned, the Pirates, the first National League team to 20 wins, are sitting at the top at 29. Brewers, 18-10. Cubs are at 14-13. Reds in fourth place at 12-16. And the Cardinals, surprisingly, I don't know what's going on in St. Louis.
Goodness.
10-19. 10 games back, dude. And it's May 1st. How?
Way too much talent in that roster to be happening.
In a year,
I don't think Marmo's going to make it, dude. I really don't think he's going to make it.
No, at this point, it's not looking good. You need some sort of culture shift in there, and we talked about it. I think part of it continued with that Tyler O'Neill incident. That was just a weird. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Mm-mm.
But in a year when so many people, including ourselves, said that it almost becomes an annual thing. This is the Cardinals division to lose. And you're 10. I know it's early.
They're losing it.
But
it's
also,
theirs to lose, and they're losing it.
Like, it's weird because you say, well, it's early. But you're also 10 games back. So in the short period of time that we've had a major league season in the year 2023, you've done a whole lot of damage to your chances moving forward because you're now 10 games back. If you were 5 games back, you could look at it and be like, yeah, it's early. But you've doubled that. You're 10 games back in the division, and we just started the month of May. Don't understand that. Shouldn't be happening. Can't happen. Cardinals are better than this. Doesn't make any sense. National League West, we got the D-backs on top at 16-13.
Saying it since when?
Been saying it since March. Been saying it since the World Baseball Classic. I remember when we did our hot takes and predictions episode right before the season started.
In March.
In March, actually. Yeah, believe it or not. That was in March.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of my award picks. I went Corbin Carroll for Rookie of the Year, and I went Zach Gallen for Cy Young. And I remember, I can hear it in my head. You said, oh, you take a trip out to Phoenix, and now all of a sudden you're big on the D-backs train. Well, for good reason.
Look at that.
D-backs sitting at the top at 16-13. Dodgers coming in at second, also 16-13. Dodgers are 7-3 in their last 10, have won 3 straight. Padres in third at 15-14, also 7-3 in their last 10. Giants 11-16, and the Rockies coming in at the bottom at 9-20.
What a horrendous! I mean, it's so disappointing in the Rockies. It's crazy. It's so disappointing.
The
Anyway.
Rockies don't even register on my disappointment radar because of what we're seeing elsewhere around the league.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that they're 10 games back in the division. The Nationals, that is what it is. The A's, even with as bad as they are somehow like breaking barriers into being even worse than we expected. So they register on my disappointment radar. The Royals, come on, man.
Yeah, dude.
We've been saying for the last couple years, like you're close. You're close. You've got the youth. You've got, and not only the youth, you have talented youth. Not putting it together. The White Sox, I don't know what's going on.
Just blow it up.
No.
Move. Get out of Chicago. You're a disgrace.
I'm not going that far. Which reminds me, we actually do have a voicemail related to the White Sox.
Yes.
That I meant to play off the top, but I guess this would be a good time to play it. So
yes.
Let's rip this one off here.
Yes.
Hey guys, AJ Torres, how's it going? I got a couple of things, and this is going on both of your points. First off, Kyle, I can't believe you're telling the world that you have more floral patterned shirts than the Oakland A's have wins. I need the over-under for the shirts versus wins at the end of the year. I'm going to take the over on your shirts because, obviously, I'm just saying you're starting to look more like a typical Boston fan I see traveling through Connecticut, and it's freaking great. Nate, about the absolute piece of freaking garbage known as the Chicago White Sox, not an expansion team, not a team that cries poverty, just a team that's absolutely pathetic. A team that's been around for over 100 some odd years, and outside of a title in the mid-2000s, which I can't believe it seems more like 50 years ago, like almost like it's completely forgotten about. I got a new theory. When Michael Jordan sells the Charlotte Hornets, he buys the team, moves them to Charlotte, and makes a spin-off of Space Jam. Just
Sick.
a theory. Don't
Sick.
at me. But something on what you said last year, Kyle, during the playoffs, and it was the Cardinals being the best fans in baseball is suspended, and I absolutely agree. So, just for the heck of it,
I stand by that, by the way.
I thought this for years because occasionally in my area, now I'm in Connecticut, so you see sports fans of every single kind. Very rare, but I've met a small handful of Pirates fans. And it didn't matter if the year was good or bad. They showed up to one of the best ballparks in baseball and have cheered on their team. And even though the team is great this year, almost like the underdog and people's champ this year so far, it's only been a month, even though they have, in my opinion, the worst owner in baseball, they still go out and the fans are just great. Something about that city. Let me know what you guys think. Take it easy and, well, pray for my Yankees. We'll need it. Anybody? Yeah. Thank you.
First thing, real quick, and this is probably the only thing I'll say. I'll let you take it over. But he mentions the Pirates. This is where the conversation. This is where the argument begins and ends with the whole Oakland A's debacle that's going out there. Because I've been hit with so many comments on the YouTube videos, so on and so forth, with A's fans trying to defend their actions, being like, well, the ownership just doesn't invest in the team. That's why we don't go to games. Well, up until this year, the most expensive contract, or I guess up until like this era, if you will, the most expensive contract given to a Pittsburgh Pirate was years ago.
Yeah.
And it was for what? Like 50 million. Who we talked about it last episode. Who I forgot who it was even for.
I don't even know.
Chump change.
Yeah.
So to say that the Pirates,
like Steven Piscotty or something like that, you know what I mean?
So to say that the Pirates invest in their ball club, no. But you just heard it. Like and I've got family up there and they talk about the Pirates all the time. I know they love their team up there and they try to make it out when they can. But don't try to say it's because it's the ownership doesn't invest in the team. That's as if that's justification for not showing up to the ballpark.
Right.
I understand it, but let's look at what the Pirates are doing.
Well, it doesn't help that, I mean, the Pirates have like a top 5 stadium versus the Oakland A's are definitely the worst ballpark in baseball. So
I mean, I
that part
understand
doesn't
that.
help.
I understand that, but like,
I think we
doesn't
can
that
look
wear
at,
off at some point?
Right. I think we can look at Pirates fans and be like, I think you're true baseball fans. I genuinely believe that. Like, if you can stick around with this team, I think you're a true baseball fan, and that's cool. You know, to be able to celebrate history of Roberto Clemente and just you have everything in place. You have the successful city, considering just all the other sports as well. Like, you got everything you need. So I do agree with AJ. I think the ownership still would probably need to change in Pittsburgh to really get over the next hump, but they're on the right track. They're definitely on the right track. And he's right about the White Sox. They don't do anything. They're just middle of the road. They're just middle of the road, mediocre. And weren't they? I mean, they've been in on all the big free agents every year, right? They were doing like, I remember when Bryce Harper was going through free agency, I remember there was like billboards and stuff saying his name like around the city. Like, pretty sure they went on Machado at
Which
one
I believe.
point.
Like, there are certain teams that I think they leak interest in certain big stars to the media, which I get. That's just how some of these teams operate. But I genuinely believe the White Sox were in on a number of these guys, which I can respect because they've shown that they're willing to spend the money. Like, our guy said it best. They don't cry poverty,
right?
Which I can agree with. They're just
underwhelming.
They spend money, right? They spend money. They're underwhelming. They underperform, and so they're really not in a position where they can be like, well, we don't have the money or we don't spend that. You spend
There's no
the
reason
money.
to suck. You just suck.
Doesn't make any sense. But I'm not going to go as far as to say burn it down.
Burn it down. Yet. Move to Charlotte. I like it. MJ takes over.
Maybe move to Mexico City. Let's talk about the Mexico City series. I'm going to say right off the top, after experiencing what we did in the World Baseball Classic with Mexico being in Pool C and getting to, like we've talked about, getting to talk with the fans, talk with just people that are so in tune with that product down there and the quality of the product down there and the interest that's there. I was all about having Major League Baseball pull this series off. But I got to say, as with a number of other events similar to this. I know where you're
going with this. I know where you're going, and I agree.
Where am I going with this?
They didn't market it.
No.
It just crept up on us.
It popped up. Like, sure, they announced it when they released the schedule like a year in advance. But no, who's thinking about it? Who's thinking about this in February? Like, give me some buildup. I had no idea. Well, I mean, not being a Padres or a Giants fan, I had no idea that it was this weekend until I saw it pop up like Friday morning or something.
Right. Be better. Just be better. I don't understand. Like,
it's not a lot to ask.
Throw a couple commercials out there. A couple posts on social media. That'd be great. Like, get us hyped up for it a little bit. It's something new. It's in a new place, and arguably one of the best cultures to play baseball in. Like, get some hype up for it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know where was it televised? Was it MLB Network the whole time?
MLB Network, yeah. It was only a 2-game series.
Right.
Both games were on MLB Network. I got a tweet here from Jared Carabas. He said the Padres and Giants combined to hit 329 with an OPS of 1.130, a 725 slug, 15 home runs, 12 doubles, a triple, and 37 runs scored in their 2-game series in Mexico City. 57% of the hits in the series went for extra bases.
I think the wildest part of all those stats is that triple came from Nelson Cruz.
That's yeah. And what's even crazier is there's like one or two people in the fantasy group text asking like if they thought the balls were juiced. They didn't have to do anything to the baseballs if they didn't want to. The place they were playing, Estadio Alfredo Harpelú,
nailed it.
thank you, is, let me make sure I got the number right here. It says roughly 7,200 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Which is nearly 2,000 feet higher than Coors. And we've been to Coors. And it gets hard to breathe up there. Yeah. But they're playing basically on the moon for this series.
I bet balls were juiced on top of it.
I would too. Like if I'm Major League Baseball, why not? A little 2-game. It's essentially an exhibition series. Like nobody really cares. They're just there to watch some freaking baseballs fly. I hope they did juice the baseballs.
That one that Brandon Crawford hit, that down and in like off speed flick that I genuinely think it would like 2-hop the fence in Yankee Stadium. Somehow got out. It makes no sense that they would have not, like, I don't know. I'm not saying like rebuild the stadium or anything, but like just have a free weekend of stat padding opportunities.
I tell you that if you're a Padres fan, you could not have asked for a better place to play at for your guys, for the guys
to get back
that
on
struggling
track
a little bit. Juan Soto in particular, him getting on the board, like
Tatis hit one to right. Nelly Cruz ran into one. Even on the Giants side, Mitch Haniger hit one that was like, whoa, way up there. So, yeah, I would say, I mean, why not? Like that, not that, I think if there was ever a fan base that didn't need that many runs scored to provide that energy, it's Mexico fans. But it still like basically brought the house down with being able to just put up that amount of action. So it's just crazy when you're watching, like Soto hit one off the bat. It looked like the center fielder would maybe range 5 to 7 steps to his right and it would be a snag. And you watch the route that the center fielder takes where it's immediately like a lateral step. And then all of a sudden he's looking behind him and it's 5 rows up. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, something's going on here. So I think it's just more than an elevation. I think there was definitely some juice balls.
I hope they did.
They're open about it. MLB's openly admitted this, and numbers have come out that like they're saying they're using different baseballs at different times. Why would they stop that now?
For like different series based on like prime time and viewership. It's a joke. I started thinking about that more and more ever since I saw that tweet or it was some post where it was talking about how the NFL was it the NFL is technically like its status is technically under the umbrella of entertainment.
That's what I told you. Yeah.
Or
NFL.
Was that you that told me?
Yep. They're technically an entertainment business.
As opposed to like a sports organization. Ever since I heard that,
legally they could fix games.
Right. I don't put anything past any, not just Major League Baseball, any of these sports leagues. I'm like, you know what? Clearly, these sports organizations have taken a hint or a tip from media outlets, and they're just doing what they have to do. Yeah. Whether it's clickbait articles for the media or whatever they have to do to just get eyeballs on their product.
100%.
And if for Major League Baseball, if that means juicing baseballs,
that's the only thing you can really do. Like you can't really fix much else. You know what I mean? Like there aren't ongoing calls that are penalizing the other team. It's just
right.
It's the only thing you can control. It's juice baseballs.
And so if juicing baseballs in a series where you're playing 6 miles above sea level. If that's what you got to do to capture the attention, that's what you got to do. So I don't even care at this point. I did get I saw a little stat here from an article I was reading. I think they did this research a number of years ago, so I don't know how much, if any, maybe the numbers would have changed, but I saw they were doing some math on the trajectory of fly balls, and it says a standard long fly ball with a, in quotes, standard long fly ball with a 103 exit speed and a 27.5 degree launch angle would travel 398 feet at sea level. At Coors, it would fly 427 feet. And in Mexico City, it would cover 438 feet. So you're talking about a 40-foot
That's a big difference.
discrepancy.
It's a big difference
Between Mexico City and sea level.
And it's not like, I mean, when you look at Coors Field, or honestly, I hear that all stadiums have the humidor now, that, baseballs are being kept in something. How can you expect that to be done in Mexico? Do they have the equipment to do that? Like, probably not. Does that ballpark require it, or even capable of doing that? Probably not. So even if they weren't juiced, they weren't kept in a humidor and just launching.
Do you see the like the Nacho Libre masks and the piñatas and stuff post game?
So sick, dude. I saw Carpenter coming out just dancing, breaking it in the clubhouse. Do you see that?
Yeah, what a fun series,
dude.
I would imagine to have been a part of.
I agree, and I love Matt Carpenter on the Padres. I love it.
That's a good fit.
Yeah, because he's not that guy, but he kind of is. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he leans into it. Like I think he's embracing the role that he's been provided on that team. All about it. Speaking of Matt Carpenter, former legend of this team, New York Yankees, I wanted to give you, as I mentioned, the opportunity to maybe just voice some frustrations about the product that we're witnessing right now, because as I mentioned, the mighty New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, have lost 6 of their last 8, which, all things considered, not a huge deal, but safe to say, in referencing that graphic I put out a while ago where it had a breakdown of all the teams and whether or not you'd want to restart to the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think now that we've entered May, I think it's safe to say that the Yankees would most definitely like a restart to the season.
Yeah. I think it's tough because I know the average Yankee fan is just immediately going to the injury list, right? Like immediately saying we have a ton of guys that aren't playing. The problem for me is that when you look at the injured list, you have Stanton, obviously, per usual. Rodon, Josh Donaldson, Luis Severino, Frankie Montas, Tommy Kahnle, Harrison Bader, Lou Trevino, Jonathan Loaizaga. I think Efros is done all year. I don't think he's coming back. Tommy John. Ben Rortvedt, third string catcher, not that big of a deal. Luis Heel, also Tommy John. So a lot of money on there. When you count up the guys that are on there, I mean, we're talking, I think it's around $100 million that's on the IL for payroll. The problem is, the biggest issue is, pitching has been, and I understand that the score of what you just saw against the Rangers, from the average fan that doesn't watch the Yankees every day, being like, oh, the pitching's a mess. It's really not. Their pitching has been basically top 5. Their bullpen's like top 3. Really solid pitching, overperforming in my mind. The issue is, you talk about Giancarlo Stanton, who is a streaky hitter, who is going to be pretty inconsistent. We're used to the lows being really low. Josh Donaldson, a shell of what he used to be. And Harrison Bader was brought on as a defensive specialist kind of guy, not someone that's going to be providing a ton of offense. The issue is the offense even going to change when those guys come back? How much is it really going to help? You know what I mean? They're bottom 5 in all offensive numbers, pretty much. So expecting these guys, when the excuse is, oh, our injury list, expecting these guys to come back and completely flip the script, I'm not buying it. You're talking about names that are getting regular ABs that should not be. Aaron Hicks is getting regular ABs. He's playing 3 times a week. Willie Calhoun, who, if you look up his stats, is literally the least productive hitter in baseball, going back to like 2020. Literally the worst, like negative WAR. It's bad. Regular ABs. And then you have young guys that you're like, the Yankees are just in this weird position because you spent all this money to bring back Judge. You spent money to bring in Rodon. Brian Cashman just ridiculous to come out and say after the Rodon signing, we're not done. But you were, because he didn't do anything else. And now we're relying on, I get it, Anthony Volpe is definitely the future shortstop. He's going to be here forever. He's just this guy. He bleeds Yankee blood. Like, that's just what he is. I love that. But to put this much pressure on him to have to say, you need to be perfect for us to win this division right now. Oswaldo, you need to be perfect. Cabrera, Peraza, you both need to be perfect. Clark Schmidt looks horrendous. Clay Holmes looks like the second half last year was the real Clay Holmes. IKF is playing center field pretty much, 3-4 times a week as well. It's like, how is this supposed to be anything different from what they did in the second half of last year? It's not going to be. This is what they are. This roster configuration, this is what it is. Do I think they'll still get in the postseason? I do. Do they win the division? Probably not. Is pitching going to be dominant when they come back? I think so. When you talk about some big names on there coming back, the whole rotation and bullpen is going to be fine. And they're going to go on these streaks. They're probably going to be in these streaks of winning 10 out of 12, 12 out of 15, 15 out of 20. They're capable of doing that. But when you talk about a lineup that's just ever changing, there's no stability, and somehow Boone is coming out and saying he likes doing that. He likes floating guys around. I haven't looked it up, but I'm sure we've had in these games, I'm sure we've had maybe 2 games of repeat lineups. That's about it. Everything's changing, and it's hard for guys to settle in that way, and you're putting a lot of pressure on young guys that, great, we asked for them to start every day. That's what every Yankee fan wanted. But at the same time, you can't expect the production of them being in their prime. They're not there yet.
With the lineup ever changing, who, you would certainly know this better than I would, what are some of the staples top to bottom that you've noticed are pretty consistent in terms of how it relates to the rest of the lineup? Like, what are a couple guys that are staying put?
Volpe has been at short. I think he's only missed 1 or 2 games. So
but
he's
in
been
terms
at short
of
a ton.
the order, in terms of the batting order, yeah.
The most consistent I can think of is Rizzo. He's been 2 and 3. That's it. There's been this weird back and forth at 1 and 4 for DJ. Glaber's 4 and 5. He started to really cool off after a hot start, but Volpe's going from 1 to 9. It's just,
which does, I will say, does seem to be more of a common thing in baseball these days with having that second.
I like him at 9. I'm definitely down for that. But when you don't have any depth and you have no protection behind Rizzo, behind Judge, you kind of have to put DJ down there at 4 and 5. So it's just, it's ugly, man. It's hard, ugly baseball to watch. And I understand the frustration. I understand why Yankee fans are impatient. But in reality, I think if you're a true fan of this team and you've been paying attention, this is pretty much what we thought was coming. This is what we thought would happen. And now it's everyone's conversation. Great. You signed Judge, but do you have any money left to do anything else? So there's a few highlights here. There's a few excellent highlights. The bullpen, Garrett Cole. Even Nestor doesn't even look the same. It's just guys that you're putting a ton of pressure to be perfect just to tread water. You need to be perfect just to tread water right now. And it's not there. And I mean, it's just, you can tell how things are going. Jake Bowers, one of the young prospects, lighting it up in AAA. Heck of a start in spring training as well. Gets called up Saturday, I believe, to play left field. And before he even gets an AB, he crashes into the wall making a play. Had to come out of the game. So it's just like, oh, this is how stuff is going right now. And it's just, one of those streaks. Every team goes through it, but you got to, at some point, there's no more excuses. You just have to play better. This team isn't playing good. It's not fun to watch. It's embarrassing. But it's like, this is what Brian Cashman is handing us. And just trying to convince every Yankee fan that this is the right move. I don't get it.
Welcome to my world, my friend.
I don't get it.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully you feel a little better after kind of voicing your thoughts.
It's one of those things where I'm not even upset. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
I'm not even pissed. I'm just disappointed. Where the kid comes home late past curfew and the parents are like, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. I didn't even think you were capable of doing this. That's how I feel about this team. I didn't know you could get shellacked that bad. But here it is.
Here we are. And here we are in year 16 for Clayton Kershaw. Just want to give some love to Kersh. I know
we dogged on him for missing the WBC, but I'm glad he did. Look at him now.
I mean, I still kind of stand by it, but I'm not gonna go
But he probably could have won if he was with it.
I'm not gonna go
any pitching. We would have won.
Oh gosh, yeah, any pitching at all would have been great. Which, by the way, side note, real quick, I think Trey Turner used all of his superpowers for the World Baseball Classic because my man is struggling.
Yeah.
Just want to throw a little side note out there. I believe in him. He'll be fine. Just like Juan Soto. It's now May. That was our big talking point last
Monday.
episode.
New May. New month. It's May.
New man. It's May.
It's gonna be May.
New month. It's time for Juan Soto. Hold on.
Were you ever an NSYNC guy?
Why?
Backstreet Boys.
Who's at my front door right now? They're doing little door-to-door selling. Sorry.
Unless it's free samples, you got to go.
Sorry, we have a family of bunnies living out in our front yard now, so I didn't know if it was one coming to look for some food.
You gonna bring one in?
We're trying to establish some trust with them, man. We're trying to get them comfortable with us.
Dude, bunnies are cool. I don't know why
They're
people.
super chill.
Yeah, cute.
We're
too.
Literally about 5 feet from where I'm sitting right now, right outside this wall, there's like a baby bunny that's just chilling in one of the little
excellent.
In one of the drainage pipes, just right there on the edge, just chilling.
Nature's cool, man. Nature's cool.
Nature's cool. Clayton Kershaw's cool, and he's still good. As I mentioned, in year 16, on the year he's 5-1, got an ERA of 1.89, got a WHIP of 0.76, and has 41 Ks through 38 innings. Saturday, his line 7 shut with 9 Ks, allowing just 2 hits and 0 walks. Dude still got it.
I love how he's doing this too. I looked at the breakdown, he was averaging 90.3, 90.4 on his fastball. Slider was 86. Curveball is 78, something like that. That's how you got to do it, baby. This is how you do it. You can still pitch. I know we're so obsessed with velocity, but there's a reason why, all those brave greats were able to stick around for so long. It's just pinpoint placement, and there's an art of pitching And it's so awesome to see Hall of Famers reinvent themselves and still do it at this age. And I know it's like, yeah, he's only 36. I think I can go out and say, and I think everyone will agree, Kershaw's an older 36 than most 36s, right?
I mean, it sounds kind of corny, but like being that great has to take a toll on your body.
Right.
Like you're pushing your body, you're
100%.
pushing your tools, in this case his left arm, to points that nobody else can really reach.
Right.
Whether it be physically or what have you. And to be as good as he was, because he was so good for his prime, just otherworldly. And to be at that, performing at that level on a consistent basis the way he did, that in baseball terms, that ages you a little bit. And that's why, like you said, he throws like an older 36-year-old. And it's unfortunate, but I think when he finally hangs it up, we will have gotten every ounce of Kershaw that he had to offer.
I love that.
Well, minus the World Baseball Classic, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, just wanted to shine some light on Kershaw's fantastic start to the year. We mentioned deGrom. Really, no sense in diving deeper into that, really, but something to keep an eye on.
They
sure
threw him on
we'll
the
be getting
IL 15, but like I don't know.
I don't feel good about it, man. I do not feel
either.
good about it.
Have there been any reports at all?
I haven't seen any. No.
Just basically forearm tightness, typical stuff.
Yep.
Love how candid teams can be. Yeah, I mean, I would say assumption wise, like if you're just based on his history, I would say we're not seeing him before the All-Star break.
Speaking of the All-Star break, God, my transition game is en fuego.
You could argue I tee it up for you.
It's certainly a team effort. Like I can't take all the credit. Like you.
To be fair, I have no idea where you want to take the next topic, so I just say a bunch of random stuff.
Well, and just see what sticks.
Yeah.
Well,
for those who don't know, I obviously put no research into any of this.
Yeah. So it's funny. a little side note. Where was it? Show some love to Evan in our fantasy league. I mentioned some like research I had been doing on the Phillies because he has Trey Turner on his team and was talking about how like the Phillies are struggling. I threw out the note. I was like, yeah, like I was doing some research for today's pod and saw that like, the Phillies have won 4 straight series. So like, it's not all bad. And then he was asking, he's like, how much research do you dig into with the pod? He's like, I've always been curious about what it all takes that goes in each episode. And he says, I've always thought of you as the guy with the ideas and Nate coming in with his thoughts and opinions. And I was basically like, yeah, I bring a lot of the numbers into research. Nate just brings the extra juice and the energy. So, and hey, it works, man. It works.
It's our style. Yeah.
It's our style.
I wouldn't want to do this if I had to do a bunch of research. You know what I mean? I do a little Monday morning quarterbacking, some stuff I missed over the weekend. That's about it.
I tell you what, I've never met somebody that can do so much with so little the way you do. No, and I mean that like as a compliment. Like I wish I had that ability to like turn on MLB Network one morning and just like absorb everything. I have to have stuff. Like I could never do public speaking. Because I'm the person that would have to have stuff written out word for word in front of me and just read it off.
Yeah.
Like I sucked at the presentations in school when you had to like do class reports and stuff in the front of the class. Hated it. So I applaud you for that. But back to my transition.
I wasn't doing research back then either.
Certainly not. Certainly not. No, you mentioned possibly not seeing deGrom back for the All-Star break. That is exactly when they were reporting that Bryce Harper would be making his return.
Wild, dude.
And here we are.
Insane.
Slated. He teed up for a Tuesday return. I was hoping we'd get the breaking news while we were recording, but it's looking like they may still be running through some some follow-up tests. But should he return on Tuesday, I believe I read that it's going to be 160 days from his surgery, which is insane. I don't know if you're listening to this, how much you know or how little you know about Tommy John surgery. 160 days is unheard of. I don't think people understand just how insane that is.
This is the stage of like playing light catch for 5 to 10 throws. That's where the typical Tommy John person would be at. He's coming back and he's going to be in the lineup. That's insane.
They said they're gonna start him out for a number of weeks, possibly even months as a DH.
Right.
Which makes total sense. That's the way they should go about it. Assuming he's ready, which they said he's ready. And I was actually reading an article today about it, and they were talking to Castellanos about it, and which I think was super important that he shared this, because I think a lot of people had this question, understandably, because 160 days is absurd. Mm-hmm. But they were talking, Castellanos was talking about how he doesn't sense at all. I can't remember the exact words he used, but it was something along the lines of like reckless approach to this return. Like
it's not rushed at all. It's like,
right. And he's talking about how he said Harper's doing exactly what you would expect. Very dedicated, very meticulous, very like by the book, doing exactly what he needs to do at 120% to ensure that he can maximize the time he's out on the field.
Yeah.
Which I think is music to Philly's ears and to the ownership, front office, anybody related to that organization. This is all they've been waiting for, is for this guy to come back. And I don't think anybody expected him to come back as quickly as he did. But the fact that he's here and, as I mentioned, slated for Tuesday, that's... I'm not going to say he's going to single-handedly turn the Phillies season around, because to be fair, I mean, there's not a whole lot to turn around. They're playing decent ball as of late, but that's just the timetable. I cannot get over the timetable. It's insane.
It's curious to see. I'm assuming Schwarber has been DHing primarily, right?
Yeah, and where I should know this. Where have they been slotting Cody Clemens in? He hasn't been DHing, has he?
So it looks like Schwarber has not that bad. He's DH'd 18 games so far this year. Schwarber has. My point being is that, like, I think it's one thing to...
Cody Clemens has DH a little bit, yeah.
It's one thing to have a full-time DH, like, I mean, just take like like Stanton. Like, just say Stanton's healthy, right? It's like a full-time DH, but you still rotate him in every once in a while. To not have that ability for the first couple months means your guys have to be on. You guys have to be on. You can't have these half off days for a Schwarber, for a Castellanos, where they get to chill and only DH. That's not going to exist. So you are asking for a lot out of your other guys. You're asking a lot out of your bench guy, that if a Schwarber or Castellanos sits once or twice a week, that bench guy has to absolutely show out and fill those gaps. So it's going to be difficult, but you're much better having Bryce Harper in the lineup than not. And I love hearing that, like, the dude's just, he's in his prime. He's in his prime, and I think this is why we talk about, we've said this over and over again, I'll die on this hill forever. If you could have your 22-year-old body, but your 30-year-old mind, it's game over. You know what I mean? To be that mature, and to be, you talked about being meticulous with his rehab and being locked in. That only happened, him coming back this early only happens because of his head, because of his brain, because of staying in the right mentality and not feeling bad for himself, or taking it easy because he's already got a paycheck, right? He's coming back and he's working his way back. It's really cool to see, and I hope he does Bryce Harper things, Are they even going to do rehab starts? Is he even going to get rehab starts?
No.
That's insane.
No, that's a foregone conclusion. They have ruled that out. He was like, no, he's like, I'm good. He's like, I don't need the minor league ABs. Like, just put me in the lineup and let's roll. And I'm like,
he's a different human being.
yes, dude.
He's a different human being. Hate him all you want. He's a different human being.
Built different. Now that's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. This is truly an athlete that is built different.
Very true.
Nobody does what he's doing and is about to do. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
I just
seriously. This is just as, like, you remember how big the Schwarber story was when he came back with the Cubs and he missed all year and he came back for the postseason. He's like, I haven't even swung yet. I've just been tracking balls for 5 months. Yeah, this is just as impressive. I can't believe, and it's to be doing it in 160 days is, I don't even understand. So dope.
Says here Harper would be, which I wholeheartedly believe, Harper would be the fastest major league player on record to return from the Tommy John surgery.
Love it. Give me it. Need it. Want it. Philly gonna be bopping.
You talk about a guy that makes the sport better. I am here for it.
It's true.
Last thing I got here before we hop off. Your thoughts on the Mariners City Connect? Was it me? I feel like I was having deja vu. Did we not talk about the Mariners City Connect? Like, was there like some sort of leak or something?
I think there's a leak.
Did we talk about that? Because I saw
know.
it and I was like, wait a minute. I feel like we've already seen these.
I'm over these. I'm done. I'm done with the City Connects. They do nothing for me.
Yeah.
They do nothing for me. Like they look like a college softball team. Not men's league softball. The black pants, the blue jersey, it looks like a college softball girls team. How does it connect? Where's the connection? What about it? Do you have any nuggets for me? Because I see nothing.
I've got some nuggets. That, these teams release like
lowercase
the graphics.
Font goes back to the real roots of Seattle.
So before I get in these nuggets, I will say, and I think somebody in our fantasy group chat said it, that like they were on the right track the first year of these things. Like the Boston Marathon,
right?
The
like
South Side.
Hater loved the design. At least the connection is there.
Yeah, but for some reason they just decided, oh, these are City Connect uniforms. We're just gonna go in the opposite direction and just not even care about City Connect. That was after the first year. For some reason they decided to change courses. Yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying, each team releases like the little infographics side by side with like the jersey release. And so I pulled some notes from that. It says
City with so much potential. So much potential.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people being
any of it.
Right. And I saw a bunch of people being like, it was next to impossible to mess up the Mariners City. Like, again, one of those cities that endless possibilities. And I don't know. It says the Mariners trident has become modernized to signify an aggressive new era of Mariners baseball. The cap consists of the rush blue crown and black visor. First time this color combination has been used for an on-field cap in Seattle baseball history.
Not the city.
Piping. The piping detail is a fresh take on the uniform. Piping is used by the Seattle Pilots and Mariners.
Somewhat. The city.
Kind of.
The piping. That's all you're going to give me?
The piping. Colors, the rush blue, sundown, and amarillo capture the essence of the Mariners and Seattle Pilots' original colors. Black is used as a nod to the 1940 Seattle Steelheads uniforms. Okay, here we go. Mount Rainier is the centerpiece of the patch. celebration of the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle Rainiers. PNW is underlined to signify the energy and exuberance of the region's great outdoors. All right. Jersey font Seattle is stitched across the chest of the Rush Blue jersey. I don't believe that for a second because they don't stitch anything on these uniforms anymore. It's all heat iron press, so don't give me that crap. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about Nike's uniforms. Mm-hmm. And even Majestic at the tail end of their run, nothing was stitched. It was
Not
all
anymore.
heat press. That's garbage. Yeah. You see stuff falling off these guys' jerseys all the time. Solo Mojo, the popular is it Soto Mojo? Solo Mojo? I don't know. Inside the jersey collar as a celebration of the neighborhood the Mariners have always called home. The two gold
inside
tridents
of the collar that no one can see.
2 gold tridents point skyward, forming W's. The first W represents our state, Washington, home to every team highlighted in our jersey. The second W is for wins and represents the W we light up on the T-Mobile Park roof after every victory. They got My Oh My on there, which I think is cool. But yeah, man, not wild about it. No. I will say, and I said this in the comments because somebody tagged me in the post and like, we already know what these guys think. And I said, for some reason, and I have to be quiet here because I know we just got done ragging on the Rangers black pants. But these black pants kind of work for some reason with this uniform. I don't know why.
Pants up, they're fine. If you wear pants up, it's a lot better. If you have colored socks and pants up, it's fine. But if you wear them baggy and long, they look like pajama pants.
They do, yeah.
And then you look like a men's league softball that plays on Wednesdays. And the lights go out right after the game's done.
Or even before the game's done.
True. That does happen too. Yeah, not a fan. Doesn't look good. And the patch on the side, like that's all you're going to give me. Just whack. I'm over them. I'm done with them. Stop doing them. What's a Mariner, by the way?
It's somebody at sea.
All right.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
That's all I got. That's all I got on that. That's all I really know. Well, that's really all I got for everything else too. So unless you got anything else, I guess we can bounce out of here. I was really hoping we could get the final word on whether Bryce is coming back officially or not, but
I don't know.
My only question is if for some reason they rule, and I'm sure by the time people are hearing this, it'll already been announced, but as of right now, we don't know. I'm curious if they rule out a Tuesday return. Is it like the end of the week? Is it another month? Like, I don't know like what the alternative here to Tuesday is.
I don't understand the advantage of holding these things like so close to your chest. You know what I mean? Like not letting anyone know the secret. Like, okay, the pitcher on the other team doesn't know he's in the lineup before, but all of a sudden he pops up a couple hours before the game. Like, I don't understand the point of like hiding this. Like, just come out and say it. So I don't know.
Well, they are at West. They're in LA, and from my understanding, he's getting evaluated out there also. So the whole 3-hour difference thing may be affecting a little bit. So it's possible that like they're still
maybe
wrapping up evaluations, but all in all, I hope he's good to go Tuesday because baseball needs it. That's all I got. You got anything else for the folks?
I guess when curveballs come, you don't chase them.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.